Hi, my name is Michelle Sophie, and this is Neighborhood Talk. I'm so excited today because I have a wonderful guest. I'm so excited to introduce this woman. She is an author, she is an educator, she's an illustrator, and she's just amazing. Dr. Patricia Niles-Randolph.
Thank you, Michelle. It's so good to be here.
And thank you so much for being here with us today. So, Patricia, Dr. Patricia Randolph, I want to first and foremost introduce you to my audience. So I would like you to tell our audience a little bit more about yourself and who you are and what you do and how long you've been an educator.
Very well. Well, my name is Dr. Patricia Niles-Randolph, and I am a native of Roxbury. I have been in Roxbury for over 40 years. I am a retired elementary school principal from Boston, and I worked in the Boston Public Schools for 40 years before I retired.
Wow.
After retirement, my husband and I relocated to Stoughton.
Okay.
But yes, we are from Roxbury, and we love Stoughton, and I am committed to still working with children in Boston. I spend a lot of time going back and forth. I worked in the school department under a lot of different umbrellas. I was a guidance counselor for 15 years.
Okay.
And then I was a vice principal.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that part.
I was a vice principal for about 6 years, and then I ended the remaining 40 years of my career as a principal.
Wonderful.
I'm also a licensed social worker. I actually was a social worker before I became an educator.
Wow.
Worked with Roxbury Children's Services and DSS, but I felt I could do a little bit more with a smaller caseload. And so I decided to go into the school department, and I loved it. Some of the best years of my life were serving the city of Boston and the children.
Wonderful. So let me ask you, when you worked as a social worker, did you work with children or adults?
Yes,
or
I
both?
was a protective service social worker.
Very
So
nice.
that was challenging because I had to go into court often and talk to judges about the child's well-being.
Right.
Sometimes children would be at home, sometimes they would be in a group home. So that was challenging, and I loved it. So yes, I worked at Roxbury Children's Service.
Wow, that's wonderful.
It was good.
Very rewarding.
It was very rewarding.
Yes.
Very challenging because I had teenagers. You know, so I would be running up and down the road,
Right.
keeping up with the teenagers.
Yeah.
But it
I
was
can
good.
imagine
Yeah.
the mouthy teenagers.
It was work.
Yeah.
It was work. But I was their advocate, and they would know that. And they knew that Dr. Randolph would take very good care of them, that I had their best interests at heart. So
Yeah.
it was good.
So, Dr. Randolph, what I do want to get into is this book that you've written.
Yes.
I must admit, things don't fit. Dr. Randolph, you are the author of this book, and I read it and I loved it. My husband read it
that is
and
so
he
wonderful.
thoroughly enjoyed it as well.
Oh, wow.
I love the fact that you've written about the self-esteem of children and how their friends and their parents play a part in their growth and just their growth and just being very supportive to their kids.
Yes,
I love that. So let me just ask you. So I must admit, Things Don't Fit is the name of the book, okay? And I love the name, by the way. How'd you come up with that name?
Well, the character in the book, her name is Evie. And Evie found out one day she woke up and the clothes that she loved to wear just didn't fit. And they were tight. And she realized that she had gained a little weight,
Okay.
more than a little.
Yeah.
And so throughout the whole story, I must admit things don't fit is a theme that goes through the story. And that's where the title came in, because she couldn't fit the clothes that she liked.
Mm.
So there was a plan.
Mhm.
Her and her mom had a plan.
So, so that's very important that you said her and her mom had a plan in the book, because you know communication is very important between parents and children,
It is.
and sometimes the communication gets lost in the just gets kind of lost.
It does get
Because
lost because of different ages of children.
right,
Different children's ages
Uh-huh.
depend on the communication.
yeah, and most times they like listening to their friends or other
Absolutely.
people other than your parents.
Absolutely.
So how did that play a part in your book, and why is communication so important?
Well, first I'll let you know that Evie and her family, they had a very, very good relationship with her mother and her father
Okay.
and her brothers. She also has some wonderful friends.
I know.
And Evie's friends, they weren't judgmental. One thing about Evie, you know, growing up on the street, the friends who live beside you on each side, across the street, those are your friends. In my house, and in Evie's house, and maybe in your house too, when you were playing, you played in front of the house. You
Right.
didn't go up the street or down the street or 2 streets over. So the children in your community were your friends. So Evie,
That's true.
yeah, Evie has some very, very good friends. And it's interesting because on one hot day, Evie and her friends, after school or in the summer, they used to love going to the store, buying snacks and coming back and sitting on the front steps and sharing them. On this one very, very hot summer day, Evie's mom noticed that she had a jacket on.
I remember
And
that.
the kids didn't think anything about it. They're playing and skipping, but her mom noticed.
Right, of course. Yeah.
And that's important because her mom noticed, because Evie wasn't communicating that, you know, she didn't communicate it, but she had a jacket on. So when Evie came in from playing, her mom just casually asked her, how was everything, and did she have fun? And I noticed that you had your coat on. It's really hot outside. Why do you have your coat on? And Evie didn't really answer right away. Then she asked her again, why'd you have your coat on? And she was saying that Evie had the coat on to cover up what she had on because she felt like her clothes were too tight. And so that was the beginning of the communication.
Yeah.
And the thing that is key, some communication that we have with children won't be verbal. We have to watch their body language. Sometimes the visuals will give us a clue to what's going on with kids, because sometimes they won't tell you. This time Evie was speaking through wearing a coat at 90 degrees temperature outside.
Try to hide.
Try to hide.
Yes.
Right. And so that's and the kids, her friends, never great group of friends, never said anything about, why do you have the coat on? They're too busy sharing snacks and running up and down the street and having fun.
Okay. So obviously you are very well versed and qualified to write such an extraordinary book. Where did that come from? Where did you pull this information? Was it from working with the kids for so many years? All the different experiences that you've experienced with children?
Some with children. Initially, I was a little overweight when I was a child.
Okay.
So I personally understand what Evie has gone through.
Oh, I see.
So that was one thing. And being in the school department, I see so many children
You see
who
it
are
all.
obese
Yeah.
and overweight. And what I learned is, from being an overweight child myself, children don't want to be overweight.
Yeah.
But children don't cook the food at the house. And they don't do the grocery shopping.
That right there.
So
And they don't pack their snacks
No,
either.
and no, and they don't they don't pack lunches. They don't do that, and but they don't express it.
Right.
But when they're at school, I noticed that there were times when they would be bullied. Kids would make fun of the heavy set kids, and that is what inspired me to write this book, because nowadays children don't have to be overweight, and
Right.
childhood diabetes and
Right.
high blood pressure, all of those things are not just for adults. There are children who suffer with diabetes
Yeah.
and high blood
Yes.
pressure and
Yes.
all of those same kind of illnesses that happen
Right.
to adults
True.
happen to children.
Absolutely.
So eating healthy was important. So I said to myself, well, let me write something that will talk to children about being overweight.
Right.
And even when you're overweight, you can still be have self-esteem and self-worth,
Right.
because you have to love yourself.
Right.
And
It
that's
comes
what
from
I liked
within.
about Evie's friends.
Yeah. They were
And
very
oh
supportive.
my goodness! In one of the chapters,
Because, friends find friends like that nowadays.
no, in one of the chapters, I see worms. Well, the chapter before, the best surprise ever. Evie knew that she wanted to share. She had made a decision, and her mom said, I will help you. We'll make new snacks and everything.
Right.
I'll change how I season things. So her mom and her aunt worked with her. But she knew she had to tell her friends, because every day they met, got
They-
their little
they had their little
allowance, went down
snacks.
to the corner store.
Yep.
And so this one day, Evie said to her friends that she wanted to lose weight. She just came out of the clear blue sky and said,
Right.
I'd like to lose weight. My clothes don't fit the way I'd like.
Right.
And so, of course, Evie's friends were like, what? Lose weight? We like you the way you are. What? Well, okay, if you want to. And then she started talking about snacks, changing the snacks, having
Right.
healthier snacks.
Right.
And, of course, the kids said, we like our snacks.
I know.
We like our chips and
Yeah,
candies and
right.
cookies, But Evie convinced them that there were wonderful snacks that her mom had made for her that were delicious.
Right.
And she invited them over to the house that afternoon. And they had talked earlier. And so Mom made some wonderful snacks, parfaits. I don't want to
Fruit.
give it away,
Yeah.
but I need you can get the book and read.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Don't
but
give too much away.
healthier snacks. And
Uh-huh.
they went over and they fell in love with the snacks.
Right.
And it started opened up all the kids' eyes. The kids told their parents started talking to Evie's mom, and it just changed everything. But one thing that was important to know, that Evie's friends, they never changed.
Right.
They were very supportive, and they wanted whatever she wanted to make her happy. And so.
Okay. So I see that Evie, she really wanted to make a change,
She did.
and she really had supportive friends. So what advice would you give to someone that was going through what Evie was going through? I mean, that didn't have the support at home, that didn't have the supportive friends.
That's true, because
yeah, because something like that can really go left real quick.
it can. It
Yeah.
can.
So what advice would you give?
Well, one of the
child.
things I've learned in my field of education and working with children,
Mm-hmm.
it really does take a village. It takes more than just your family.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice would be, well, one thing is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The adults have to be attentive. I can't express that enough.
Right.
Because children will be children.
Yeah.
So you have, and if they're nonverbal cues, like Evie was going out with her jacket, you have to pay attention to the nonverbal cues. Evie had good friends, but also talk to our children about communicating with their guidance counselors at school,
Very important.
communicating with the school nurse. There are people in the schools, grandma, grandpa, auntie. There are godparents.
Yeah.
There are so many people because a lot of children don't have a mother and a father,
Exactly.
but they have a grandmother. My
Okay.
mother raised my nephews, and that is how it is in a lot of families.
Yeah. See, I just worry about the children that don't have the support, that, don't have the parents that are, or even the grandparents. Some children raise themselves, those.
That's true.
And they're in foster care, and
That's true.
I want to believe in my heart that the foster parents really care about children.
Well, the children's primary care physician is also key. And often in those situations where there's children who may not have a stable home environment,
Right.
they may be in foster care, they may be in a group home.
Right.
There are always primary care physicians. There are also social workers. There are other people who do love children.
Yeah, this is true.
And they care about children,
Yeah.
whether they're their blood parents or blood relatives or not. So I'm always hopeful that a child will have someone. Even in the school department, being in the school, it was important for me to always let my staff know, teachers know, that it's our responsibility to support the children when they come to school, because we don't know what type of home environment children come from.
This is true.
That's why we had made sure they instituted school lunch, breakfast programs, because we don't know when the children come to school, they're hungry.
Yeah.
We don't know any of those things, so we wanted to provide something for the children. It's the same with emotional support.
Okay.
Having emotional support in school. So that's why in the schools in the city of Boston back then, I don't know what they're doing now, but they had student support coordinators.
Oh, okay.
So there was a group of individuals in the school for the children, keeping an eye, support,
Wow.
groups,
That's so
chat
important.
sessions,
Yeah.
so yes.
That's so
So
very
I
important.
think I believe there is hope, even for the child who doesn't have a family like Evie.
Right. So this is a series. This is the first of four.
It is the first of four.
Yes.
And if I may,
Yes.
I'd like to read the back cover.
Absolutely.
It says, "I must admit things don't fit. Evie is a 14-year-old girl who comes to the realization that she is extremely overweight following a number of events in her life that cause her to admit that she is unable to fit into the clothes she loves to wear. With the encouragement and support of her family, she begins to change her eating habits and is transformed from being extremely overweight and self-conscious to a normal-sized girl who blossoms into a confident and outgoing high school student. As a result of her determination, change in diet, exercise, and hard work, Evie enters high school a new person with confidence and greater positive self-image." So, you didn't mention it, but it's also the other thing that's important about I Must Admit Things Don't Fit is there is a chapter called Play Hard, Work Hard.
Okay.
And what Evie learned
here it
is that exercise was important,
Right. Chapter 4.
chapter 4. And what a lot of times kids don't understand, that exercise doesn't particularly mean that you have to go to the fitness center.
Right.
Running in the backyard,
Yeah.
playing ball, skipping, jump rope. There are so many
Walking.
different types of exercise. And kids don't realize that when you go to recess every day, you're exercising when
Right,
you're
exactly.
outside. So it was important to have some type of physical activity. And as Evie got smaller through the book, through the 5
Yes.
chapters,
Yes.
she's one size, and you can see the illustrations at the beginning, and then she's a different size at the end. The exercise became very, very important. Very, very important. So I wanted to stress that there is a great chapter about working out, and Evie's family, they did it together.
That's right. So that's a good point. They did it together. So how would parents, taken apart, how would they know what the concerns, I mean, just your professional advice, how would they know what the concerns and troubles of your children? Like, how can they spot that? How can they find out? Like, how can they see what's going on with their child?
Personally, you have to be a nosy parent.
Yeah.
And sometimes parents want to give, it's always hard when I hear parents say they want to give their child, well, she's a teenager, I want to give her space.
No.
Space is not always the most beneficial thing
Yeah.
for young people. Um, because a lot of time they won't come to us, and what we don't want is for our children to talk to other people outside of the house.
Right.
I mean, socially, yes, but family issues or their problems,
No, I
you want
understand
them
that.
to come
Yes.
home.
Yes.
You want them to come home.
Right.
So often parents just have to ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. And regarding health, it's up to us to make sure that the children eat healthy. And a lot of times we just have to do it for the kids. We have to monitor the sugar. We have to monitor the junk food. We have to prepare meals at home. In one of the illustrations in the first chapter, Fun Street, the first illustration that you see Evie's mom at the stove,
Right.
her aunt at the table, and they're making cakes and flours. The flour, you see sugar, and they're making cakes and cookies and things like that. Cooking at home is really important. Fast food and eating out, it doesn't work for young people. And young people need to be active. Nowadays, kids don't play outside. Remember we used to play outside?
Of course.
Now you have to tell your child, put the tablet down.
Right.
Give me your phone.
Put the games down.
Put the game. Go outside. I don't want to
Get
go
some fresh
outside.
air.
Go outside.
Right.
Take them to the trampoline park. Take them to the Franklin Park, to a park in your community. But you have to get the children out of the house. Get them moving.
So, can you tell our audience where we can find your book?
Yes. You can purchase the book from Amazon Books.
Okay.
If you just plug in, I must admit things don't fit. You also can get the book at Covenant Books, which is my publisher.
Oh, okay.
You can get it at Covenant Books. You can also get an ebook from Amazon. Barnes & Nobles also carries the book. And there is a website. I actually don't have it here. But Covenant Books has a website, and you can get it from Covenant Books also.
Okay, you can just let us know, and then I'll put it.
Yes, I
And
can
the
let you
credit,
know, because
yeah.
there is a my book website. And if you go to my book website, I will autograph the book. You purchase it through PayPal. I will autograph the book, and I'll mail you an autographed copy of the book
Okay.
with a little
So
message from
I
myself.
need to ask also, what inspired you to be the illustrator of your book?
That's a funny story.
Okay.
And then I want to tell you about the series.
Okay, sure.
I've always liked to doodle.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I can draw. I didn't really consider myself an illustration, but this to me was my doodling. And so when my publisher saw it, she said, Dr. Randolph, I don't really think that the illustrators are going to want to do anything but tidy up your illustrations. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Mm.
And so she said, well, I'll let you know. They had a meeting, and the illustration department said to me, Dr. Randolph,
Mhm.
these illustrations are beautiful.
Yeah.
I said, are you serious? They said, yes. And if you let
Oh.
us tidy them up,
Uh-huh.
we think that you should just keep your illustrations. And I was
Wow.
like, well,
It's very
you're the
good.
professional.
Yeah.
If you think I should keep the illustrations, then I will. And they just said, look, I mean, you have people thinking, you have think clouds over people's,
Mhm.
you have children sweating at your brother's
Right.
wedding.
Yes, yes.
So I said, okay, I will. And they wanted me to know. They said, Dr. Randolph, we want you to know that you are an illustrator. I'm like, okay.
I like the mall stop. Isn't that
Oh,
cute?
isn't that something? And
It
at the
is.
end,
Mhm.
the clothes that Evie could fit, she
Yes.
could also purchase.
Mhm.
And she was swinging the bags around.
Right.
She was very, very happy.
Beautiful.
So let me tell you, you mentioned about the series.
Okay. Yes.
So what I thought I would do
Mhm.
is just keep everything. I must admit, things don't fit.
Yes.
So we have, there's going to be one that's dealing with confronting and dealing prejudice. So it's, I
Okay.
must admit, being different doesn't always fit.
Mhm. Oh.
And
Yes.
Evie had an experience with prejudice. And she wasn't raised in a family
Right.
that was prejudiced. All of her friends, the four friends that you see in the book,
Mhm.
they were of different nationalities. Her street had different nationalities. So for her to confront racism in her community, she never did, because there were white kids on the street, there were
Right.
Latinos, but when she got out of, went to school and places like that, she did. So there's one about that. I must admit, you didn't remember it. What do you say or do when parents have dementia? And that is
That's a good
something that
one.
I've dealt with. My
Mhm.
mom
Yeah.
passed in uh, 2022,
Just recently.
2021, in during COVID.
Oh, I'm so
She
sorry.
passed. Yep. So, and she had dementia, but she was
Yeah.
92.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness, she had a
God love
long
her.
life.
Yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to,
Touch on
share
that. Mhm.
something about that. And lastly, I must admit, you left too quick. I miss you
Oh.
a lot, dealing
Right.
with death of siblings.
Mhm.
So
You had a sibling then?
both of my brothers have passed, my oldest and my youngest.
Mhm.
So I have some things to share about that. And I know these are topics that children deal with.
Yeah.
And a lot of times adults get counseling,
Mhm.
but we don't send our children in counseling. And so these books will be a good read. A child dealing with being overweight
Of course.
needs to know that they are beautiful
Yes.
and they are wonderful.
Yes.
And one last thing that if you will allow me to read the acknowledgement.
Mhm. No, okay.
For my mom and dad, Shirley and Simeon Niles, who instilled in me at an early age the importance of knowing who I am, accepting who I am, and feeling great about who I am.
Mhm.
Their love, encouragement, and unwavering guidance surpassed any insecurities that arose growing up.
Mhm.
I appreciate all you gave me. To youth of all ages who face issues that make you question who you are and how you feel about yourself, you are great. You can become even greater than you ever imagined. Believe in yourself because I believe in you.
Wow. Beautiful. Really beautiful. So just before we wrap up, I think I may have one other question for you, Dr. Randolph. You have worked with youth throughout your entire career and have a love for the youth and young people. Um, Would you read the give us a glimpse, or can you read like maybe a partial of one of the chapters in the book into the
Let's
story,
let's see.
which shares how you feel about the youth? Maybe the first part of it,
Yes.
because I know you've already read the acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm. We'll look at I'm going to talk about chapter 3, I See
Okay.
Worms, because
Yeah, I like that one.
yes, every friend wanted to know what is going to stop you
Okay.
from eating the chips and the popcorn and all the stuff we love. How you going to stop? It's going to be hard for us to stop. So Evie says, well, I have a plan. And we're like, okay, so what is the plan? Every time I think of those foods, I see worms on them. And
Perfect.
they just laughed. It says, Evie said, I know it will be a challenge for me not to eat some of the old snacks, but I have a plan. What is it? They asked with curious faces. Whenever I am tempted to eat something, chips, cookies, or candy, I imagine seeing worms crawling all over it. Worms? Ha ha ha! They all roared with laughter. That's funny, said Janessa. Does it work? Sometimes, said Evie as she chuckled. Well, I hope your new snacks will taste good, Kyle sighed. They will, I promise, said Evie.
Oh, that was beautiful. I love
Yes.
that. So, we're almost at the end, and I just wanted to ask you some fun facts about yourself.
I'd love that. I
Um,
like fun.
Yeah, just some fun facts before we wrap up. So, how about travel? Where do
Travel.
you like to travel to? Where do you like to go? They said Europe, the Caribbean.
Well, it's interesting because I'm hoping to planning to go to Europe this year.
Okay.
My
What
husband and I.
what part?
We are going to go to Barcelona,
Oh,
Spain.
Spain.
We're going to go to Rome.
Oh.
Couple of places in Rome
Mhm.
and a couple of places in Spain.
Mhm.
We love to travel. We are cruise people, and of
Okay.
course, when the pandemic hit, we had to cancel everything.
Yes. So
But
did
we
we.
love cruises.
Mhm.
It, we were hesitant the first time,
Uh-huh.
so we did a 3-day.
Okay.
So now we're just cruise people.
Oh, nice.
So cruising allows us to see a lot of the world
Mhm.
and be on the water. So we like that. We like
That's
that.
awesome.
What other things? I am a very family-oriented person, and being the only surviving person in my immediate family, my brothers and my parents, I have passed, but I have wonderful, great nieces
Oh,
and nephews.
beautiful.
So I spend a lot of time
Mhm.
with. I have them as young as 8, and I have grown men nephews. So
Yeah,
I
of
spend a
course.
lot of time, and they say I'm the matriarch now.
Yes,
So
of course.
I have family cookout every summer in my backyard.
Mhm.
On my mom's birthday, she was born on October 31st.
Mhm.
So every October 31st, even before she passed in 21,
Yeah.
um, right up to this past October,
Mhm.
I bring everybody together. We pick a restaurant. One of my nieces does little gift bags for everyone. Sometimes I bring pictures and we do favors. I just want to keep the family together. I
Yes,
believe a family unit is important.
it is.
And a family does not just mean a mom and dad.
Right.
It's
The
whoever
extended
your
family.
support network is.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that.
Whatever your
Yes.
support network is your family.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love working out. I
Really?
am.
Where do
I
you
can't
where do you
believe I'm
work out?
saying that. I have had a membership to a health spa since I was 17. Well,
Wow.
remember I said I was
Yes,
a,
yes,
a,
yes.
a, a little chunky child, and then by the time I went to high school, I had lost all the weight. And
Wow. Did you ever support a family?
yes, I did. I
Was this
did.
loosely based on,
This
your
is
childhood?
this is based on, yes.
Loosely,
Most
yeah.
of the writing that I will do in the series are based on experiences that I have gone through.
Those are the best ones. Those are the
Right.
best
And
ones. Yeah.
they have brought me to where I am today, and I thank God that He has allowed me to be a successful
Very
person
successful.
and
Yeah.
God fearing,
Yeah.
Jesus
I
only,
know. Yes.
but successful. So I do like working out. I work out at the Stoughton Old Colony
Oh, okay.
YMCA.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And fitness is important.
It is.
There were times when I would power walk around the park. My husband's a personal trainer, and we have a fitness studio in the garage is the
Right.
fitness studio.
Okay.
So working out is really important. It helps with the endorphins. It helps with my self-worth. Sometimes you just have to work it out.
Right.
Physically.
Work it out. Yeah.
Yes,
A little
yes,
play on
yes.
words there.
So that's some of the things I like to do. I love to cook.
That's what I was going to ask you about that.
I
What are some of the
love
foods that
to
you love to cook?
cook.
Italian.
Today I made a
Spanish?
special dish before I came. I'm from Barbados, so
Oh,
yes,
I'm from
we're
Trinidad.
Bayesian. Yes, I'm Barbados. My mom's from Virginia, but my dad's family was from Barbados, and I
Really?
still have family there
Yeah.
that travels back and
Cuckoo
forth.
and flying fish.
Oh,
I love that.
Sawfish. So I made a cabbage dish, and I sautéed some andouille sausage and
Okay.
some fresh shrimp,
Yeah.
and some bacon, and then I put onions and peppers, sautéed that, and then put cabbage in there, and mix it up, and it's very, very good.
Do you make a lot of Caribbean foods? Was that passed down to you, or?
I think so. One of my close friends said to me, "Your food has a West Indian flair." I'm like, okay. She's from the South. I said, really? She said, so that's why they always want me to cook something. And I mean, we grew up with coconut milk.
Yes,
and
lots of coconut milk.
My grandmother made coconut bread. Oh my goodness.
And the rum cakes.
Oh my goodness. And I found out from my nephew, Gregory, because he's a chef. And we were having a family discussion, and we got on grandma's coconut bread. And we were all saying how we were so sad that nobody got the recipe. Come to find out that my nephew had already talked to grandma
Really?
when he was young, and
got all the recipe.
he had. No, it was my cousin Rosalind. She had the recipe. She went into her little strong box, and she had brought out a piece of paper that had grandma's handwriting, and it was the
Wow.
recipe. So now we all have the recipe, but we were in shock.
Beautiful.
Coconut bread.
I love coconut bread.
Yes, yes. So I do love to cook.
Yeah.
And I like to cook nutritious food. We have
Of
switched
course.
off from regular milk to
Yeah.
almond milk.
Right.
We don't use sugar anymore. We
Right.
use stevia, which is a leaf, to sweeten.
Yes.
I don't punish
Agave,
myself.
yeah.
I don't punish myself.
Yeah.
I eat some of the things I want, but we changed portions.
Right. Portion
Sometimes
size is
we
good.
eat in a smaller dish, and so and as we get older, and I am a senior citizen, as you get older, you want to make sure that your blood pressure and your A1C
Right.
and all these
Exactly. You want to stay healthy.
cholesterol and
Yeah.
everything.
The
But I
key-
love to eat.
Yep. The key to, I think the key to health is walking. I think
You must
you
move
have
your
to,
body.
You have to move your body.
You must move.
You must. You must.
I
move
go
your
to
body.
Zumba at the Y,
Uh-huh.
Aqua Zumba
Yeah.
and Zumba class, amongst other things. But I love the Zumba
Yeah.
because you get to wiggle and
Right. Yeah. And
wiggle
keep
the
moving.
calories away.
Yeah.
So this has been wonderful.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Randolph. It was an honor, honestly, an honor to have to
This
sit
has
and
been
chat with you
wonderful.
about your extraordinary book.
I must
admit
admit, things
things
don't fit.
fit.
Get your
Please
book today
go out
at
and
Amazon.
yes, please go out and get it for your children. It's a really good read. It's an easy read, and it's just beneficial, and it's just something I think everyone should have.
Thank you. It's been
Yeah.
a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank
Pleasure's
you.
all mine, and I hope you'll come back again and when you complete the
The next one. It's
yep,
it's
the
in the
series.
process. Yes, I'd
Mhm.
love to. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.